right, so good evening, everyone, and welcome. Tonight is a forward fold practice or forward extension practice. So we're going to work on lots of lengthening. It tends to be a bit more quiet. We're also going to have a nice little sun salutation. So it's not meant to do more than you're ready to do. I just want you to get your body moving and warm up as we go into these deeper extensions and openings. All right. So to start off class, if you can come into Sukhasana, our easy pose. I'd sit up on 2 blankets. And yeah. Okay, and so if you're just logging on, welcome. But basically what you're gonna have is 2 to 3 blankets to sit on. And then have your blocks not too far. Your strap can be nearby too. Okay, so we'll come to seated. And as best you can, you want to clear the flesh of the buttocks as evenly as possible so that you're sitting as evenly on your buttock bones. Then let your knees and thighs roll out to the side and cross your legs. Okay. And then clear the flesh of your buttocks and sit nice and tall. Pull the outer legs into your hips, lift your back waist, and roll the sides of your armpit chest up and over your shoulders. Soften your gaze and breathe. Lift up to the front of your chest, sides of your chest, and back of your chest. Soften the throat. Release the back of the neck, the head and neck meet one another. Breathe. Level your ears, level your eyes. Smooth the skin across your forehead and lift the sides of the wings. Join the palms of your hands at your heart and press the thumbs into your chest and lift your front body. Let your eyelids rest softly together and breathe. Pause here. Inhale. Lower your head. Surrender your head to your heart. Lower your hands. Lift your head and open your eyes. Interlace all 10 fingers. Extend the heel of the hands. And then reach your arms over. Drop your head forward and move those hands up and back. Up and back. Roll the thumbs up more and touch your thumbs. Pull the back of the arm into the shoulder and lift your head. Breathe. Exhale the hands down. Switch the crossing of your fingers. Extend the heel of the hands. Inhale, reach up. Drop the head. Roll the thumbs up. Pull the back of the arm into the shoulder and move your arms up and back. Up and back. And lift the head as you pull the back of the arm into the shoulder and breathe. Exhale, lower your hands. Adho Mukha Virasana. Downward facing hero pose. Clear your mat. You can have your blocks at the top of the mat so that for sun salutations they're available to you. But to start class, I want you to really cut the hip crease back and down into the ankles. Now, if you're really collapsing forward and your hips are lifting off your heels, a brick might be helpful under your forehead. Use the grip of the mat to help cut the hips back and down. Sink your hips into your heels, into the front of the feet and ankles. Breathe. If your heels are still not able to touch, or the hips aren't able to touch the heels, you can place a thin blanket there, or thick, depending on what you need. Breathe. Lengthen your arms, cut your hips back, and drape your body over your thighs. Sink deep into the ankles. Feel the pressure coming into the calves, into the thighs, and breathe. Rest here. Find comfort, ease in your breath, and tune inward. Observe the direction of your breath, low back, mid back, upper back. Slow, soft inhalation, slow, soft exhalation. Breathe. Before we shift, notice the change in your body. Notice the change in your focus. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Spread your fingers wide, tuck all 10 toes, lift your knees, and press your thighs back. As though I was lifting your hips up, lift the sides of your waist and stretch the back of your legs. Press your thighs back. Pull the upper arm bones into the shoulders and spread your fingers wide. Breathe. Keep pressing into your hands and rebounding those upper arms off the lower arms. Step your feet as wide as the mat. Align the outer edge of your foot with the edge of the mat. Do a small bend in your knees and pull your hip crease back further. So as you bend your knees, cut your hip crease back. Bend them more and pull your hips back like a strap was lifting your hips and pulling them back. Now, as you straighten your legs, roll the toes off the mat. Lift the front of your foot off the mat. From the thumb and index finger, lift the inner arm all the way up into the shoulder. Roll your collarbones toward those thumbs and breathe. Inhale, lift your chest, look forward. Walk your feet together. Bend your knees, deep bend. And hop or step your feet forward. Uttanasana, standing forward fold. So lengthening your feet can be hip distance here. Your hands can use the blocks if needed, or resting on the mat. Watch that the weight stays in your heels And release the back of the neck and head. If you need a bit more space, walk your feet as wide as the mat. Align the small toe edge to the outer edge of your foot with the edge of the mat. Bend the knees if needed and hinge forward. Hang forward. Great. Let the head hang like an ornament. And release. Inhale, stretch your body forward. Walk your feet hip distance and come to standing. So coming toward the top of your mat, I'm going to suggest that you have blocks available. Okay, so I've kind of just put them at the top of my mat so I can reach them when needed. You'll come into Tadasana, joining the soles of the feet, inner heels, inner big toe mounts together. Bend your knees, press into your heels, squeeze the calves, and pull your thighs up into your hips. Roll the armpit chest, soften your gaze, and breathe. Pull those outer hips in more and lift the front body. Press your heels evenly, the back of your heels into the ground, and lift the base of the buttocks. Great. Inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. And then exhale, lower your hands to the ground or the blocks. Uttanasana. Then inhale, stretch your body forward. Bend your knees. You can plant your palms on the mat. And either step or jump your feet back into downward facing dog. So a jump would look like that. Or you can easily walk your feet, get a nice long plank, and then lift the hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Then inhale, look forward between your thumbs. Step your feet together, bend your knees, bounce. And you might take a few hops or one big hop, so a few hops. Whatever amount makes sense. Walk forward, Uttanasana. And then inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to your heart. Do 2 more cycles of the same thing. Reach up. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog. Lengthen and breathe. 5 breaths. Walk your feet together. Bend your knees, look forward, and walk forward. Uttanasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, palms at your heart. 1 more cycle, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Find your way to downward facing dog. Breathe. And then look forward, bend the knees, and make your way back. Inhale, and come to standing. The next cycle, we're going to add a chair pose, Utkatasana. So you're going to swing your arms overhead and sit down into your hips. Feet can be hip distance or feet together. Okay, your choice for Utkatasana. Then you'll fold forward and walk your feet into plank. And then lift the hips up and back. Down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pause there. Keep the chest reaching forward. Yeah. And then inhale, look forward. Bend your knees. Uttanasana, step or jump forward. Yeah. Look up, half forward fold. And then inhale, come to standing. Yeah. And then palms at your heart. Good. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Sit back, sit your hips back. So lead with your hip crease, Jim. Cut your hips back first instead of sinking into the knees. Yes. There we go. Bend your knees though, Jen. Yeah. Or butterfly. Sit down a little bit more. And then exhale the hands to the ground. Step or jump your feet back to plank. All right, you can stay here in plank and go to down dog, or you can lower down all the way, bend your elbows. Do a small cobra press into your hands. And then exhale, press your hips back, downward facing dog. Nice. Inhale, look forward, bend your knees, and make your way Uttanasana. Inhale, half forward fold, stretch up. And then inhale all the way to standing. Yeah. Okay, Utkatasana again. So reach your arms up. Exhale the hands down. Oh, I messed up. Hopefully you didn't. Exhale, Utkatasana, sit back. Yeah, pull the thighs into the hips. Squeeze the hips in, thighs in like you're holding a brick. Exhale, forward fold. And then stretch your feet back. Plank pose. Stay in plank or lower all the way down. Small cobra. Press into your hands, roll your chest up. And then down dog, exhale, press into your knees, tuck the toes, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward, walk your feet together. Bend your knees and jump or step. And then inhale, come to standing. Tadasana. All right. So pause there. Tadasana. Now, if you have a wall available, we're going to use the wall. Any sort of little corner edge area will be fabulous for this. We're just trying to anchor our back outer heel. So what's going to happen here is I'll show from this direction first. So your right foot, your front leg, is going to be pointing straight forward, but your back foot, the inner heels will align, but the back toes are turned off slightly to the side. So that back heel that's on an angle, you're going to cut that outer left heel into the corner of your wall and step your right leg forward. Okay? I'll show the next part. So your front leg, you'll pull up into your hip like Uttanasana. Back leg, you press the thigh back like down dog. Okay? Then we'll reach our arms overhead, lift up, and then exhale, hands come to the blocks, and lengthen your spine forward. Right now, my outer left heel is being anchored down in that corner. You'll lengthen the spine, pull the front thigh up into the hip, back thigh back. Okay? We'll eventually lengthen down, but to come up. Turn to your back leg, Tadasana. Right? Okay, here we go. Set your blocks at the front. And let's get the left leg back, right leg forward. So left toes turn out slightly, right foot points forward. Adjust my mat so I'm not on two different surfaces. Okay, then pull that right leg up into your hip. Let's all lift our toes up to help pull the inner knee up into the groin, outer leg up into the hip. Pull your thigh up into your hip. Great. Lift your toes. Then reach your arms overhead. Press the back thigh back and pull the front thigh out into your hip socket. Like a brick was between your inner legs. Squeeze the upper inner thighs together. Lengthen. And then exhale, hinge forward. Notice I've tented my hands. My fingertips are on the top of the block. I'm not sinking my heel of my hand down. Come right up to the top. You can always adjust the block to go lower if needed. Now lift your waist up and over that front thigh. And pull the right thigh up into your hip. Gather the thigh as much as you can so it comes right into the buttocks. Pull it up. Now lift your toes again. I'm lifting my big toe, spreading across my toenails and lifting my small toe. Like that. My legs are getting a nice lift. They're awakening. Now my left thigh is pressing back. Extend the spine. Roll the chest forward. Breathe. And then stay here. Adjust the blocks as needed. You can start to come down. Lengthen over that front leg. Parsvakonasana. Breathe. Pull the back knee up into the hip. Pull the right knee up into the hip. And breathe. Inhale, lift your chest. Look forward, come to your fingertips. Breathe. Press into your back heel. Use that anchor to lift your arms up. Turn towards your back leg. Legs together. Tadasana. Okay. Other side. So now anchor the outer right heel and step your left leg forward. Okay. It's a bit of a task to get your heel down in this position with the wall, but once it's down, you'll feel that nice opening through the calf. So once again, I've spread the skin across my toe bases, and I'm really pressing into the big toe mat. I'm lifting my toes, and as I lift my toes, I'm lifting the knee and thigh up into the hip socket. Turn the waist and breathe. Lift that left thigh up. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Anchor that back heel. Reach. And then exhale, hinge forward and fingertips to the blocks. Watch that your feet aren't crisscrossed. You want just the inner line of your heel to brush. Lift your waist and roll your chest forward. Breathe. Lift the left thigh up into your hip and lengthen your body. Lift the left side of your waist. Lift your left knee, lift your back knee up, and breathe. If your feet are too wide, you may find that you're losing your balance. If they're too narrow, like crisscrossed, you also might be losing your balance. Breathe. Now slowly lengthen your torso forward, but keep pulling your thighs, knees up your legs, and then making your way along the thigh. Parsvakonasana, head down. Breathe. Stay there, keep lifting your front thigh. Look at your back knee now. Is it lifted or dropping? Anchor that back heel. Breathe. Inhale, lengthen forward. Lift your chest. And come back up. And turn to your back leg. Tadasana. Feet together. Now we're going to move away from the wall. And just move this mat right now. And we'll do it without the wall this time. So you'll just put your block to the right-hand side of your mat so that you can use it. Okay, feet come together, Tadasana. You'll inhale, bend your knees, jump or step your feet together, or out apart. Then stretch out beyond your fingers. Feet hip distance or feet are parallel and as wide as your wrists, maybe a little bit narrower. Then helicopter your arms to turn your body to the right. Adjust the feet as needed and reach your arms overhead. Anchor the back outer heel and lift your front thigh. Lift out of your back waist and breathe. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, extend forward. Lengthen over that front leg. Using the blocks or coming down lower. Roll your chest forward. Pull and lift those toes up. Lift your inner knee up. Lift your knee up. Lift your thigh up into your hip. Lift your back knee up. Watch that the weight isn't coming forward. Keep the back outer heel anchored. And breathe. When ready, lengthen. Lift the waist up and over that front thigh and lengthen over your front thigh. And breathe. Release the back of the neck. Pull the skin of your shoulders up the back and stretch your front body. Breathe. Inhale, stretch your body forward. Lengthen. Anchor the back heel and come up to standing. Turn to face forward and heel toe your feet together. Tadasana. Move the blocks to the left. Feet together or feet hip distance. You decide what feels better for your back. Squeeze the calves, lift the knees and thighs up into the hips. Roll the chest up and breathe. Inhale the arms, bend your knees, jump or step your feet apart. Turn your feet parallel. Stretch across your front body. Hasta Padasana. Now moving into Parsvottanasana, we'll turn to the left, so helicopter your arms, swing and turn your body to the left. Lift your toes and breathe. Now I've anchored my back outer heel. Adjusting, if you can go a little bit wider, but keep that back heel anchored. Reach your arms overhead and lift out of your back waist. Inhale, reach, stretch, extend, and then exhale, hinge forward, fingertips come to the mat or the blocks. Roll your chest forward and breathe. Lift the waist up and over that front thigh. Lengthen your spine and breathe. And then bend your elbows and start to pull your body over that front leg. Keep the toes lifted, knees lifted. Look at your right knee, look at your left knee. Breathe. Lift your kneecaps, lift your thighs. Feel that come all the way up into the top of the hip. Breathe. Keep going, lift your thigh all the way up into the hip. And then inhale, stretch your chest forward. And inhale to standing. Turn. And then heel toe your feet together. Tadasana. Using the blocks as needed, you'll take the back edge of your heel and align it with the back edge of the mat. Prasarita Padottanasana. Take your feet nice and wide. Anchor the outer heels down. Reach across your chest into your fingertips, right and left. Breathe. Open across your chest. Extend and reach beyond your fingers. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, reach your arms overhead. And then hinge forward, hands come to the mat or the blocks. Again, I'm on my fingertips, lifting the palm up into the shoulder. Roll your chest forward. Walk your hands back. Pull the outer legs up, outer heels down, and then release the back of the head toward the mat. Standing wide in forward fold. Letting the head make connection with the ground or a block. The weight stays in your heels though. Lori, take your feet a little bit wider. Nice wide standing forward fold. See if that just gives you a little bit more room to release forward. Good. Same with you, Mariana. Take your feet wider. And you can turn your toes in, adjusting. That small adjustment changes the groin, might give you more room through the low back. Are your heels anchored or is the weight falling forward? Breathe. Good. Don't be afraid to take your legs wide. Terry, your legs look a little close. I can't see from the side, but if you feel comfortable, you could take them a little wider. Yeah. And breathe. Good. If your head is touching something, lift the skin along the spine, up your back. And breathe. Turn your toes in, anchor the heels. Jim, hug your elbows into one another. Yeah, and lift the shoulders up. Press the heel of the hands down and lift the shoulders up, the back of the shoulders up. And then inhale, lengthen your spine forward, look forward. Come to your fingertips. And then inhale, come to standing. Heel toe your feet together. So we're going to move through a few exercises now on the mat, hands and knees. And the first one is cat-cow. So I really want you to look at how much you're able to open up all 5 fingers, not just the thumb and index finger, but getting in between these areas too. Cat-cow looks like this. I put a second mat here so I can rotate, but it's also handy because it gives me a little bit of extra cushion for my knees. So if you need a blanket, you can do that as well. Here, I'm going to round my spine. This is cat, head goes down, lengthen, breath into the back. And then cow, you don't want to just drop into your low back. You want to roll your chest. We'll go through a few cycles here. Don't lead with your neck and head, lead with your heart. Linger where you need to. And when you're moving into that cat position, rounding the spine up, lift the waist up. Lift, feel the abdominals engage, and breathe into that upper back. Lengthen through the neck, stretch and breathe. And then turn the inner arms to cow and roll your chest up. Exhale, cat. One more cycle. Inhale, cow. Neutral. All right. Taking your blocks and just putting them at the top of your mat. I'm just going to face forward so you can see. You'll step your right leg forward, pull your hips back, and lift your toes up. Okay. As best you can, we're going to isolate this one leg. You want to make sure this knee isn't sinking. So let's all do that. And this is where that extra cushion under the knee may be. Now here, I'm going to bend my knee slightly and look at my toes. I'm going to roll the toe, big toe mound away, but spread across my toe bases, spread across my toes. Then pull my knee and thigh up into my hip. Changes the stretch. It gets more into the calf, back of the knee, back of the leg. Keep the weight a little bit more evenly dispersed. So you're not pouring into your wrist. Lift your chest and breathe. Good. Stay with it. You might come forward a bit, lengthening your body, but we're just trying to find a hamstring stretch. The other pieces is holding the foot, lifting your waist over that front leg, and drawing those toes forward. Breathe. Breath into the back of the knee, back of the calf, back of the thigh. Look at your knee. You don't want it to sink like a banana. You want to lift that knee, nice and strong leg. And breathe. Notice as you turn the toes, as you lift the small toe, how that changes the stretch. And then exhale, come up. Step your right leg back and reach your left leg forward. And just notice, how does your foot go into this position before you make any adjustments? Then, spread across your toe mounts, lift your knee and thigh up into your hip, and roll that small toe up towards your hip as well. See what now you're feeling on the back of the calf, back of the knee, back of the thigh. Lengthen the spine, lift the chest. Maybe come down a bit further, all options. I'm gonna cut my foot and draw those toes up toward me a bit more and lift the waist up and over the thigh. See where the conversation starts now as you get a bit deeper into the pose. Not gripping with your throat, still breathing in and out through the nose. Then breathe. Adjust your toes, lift your waist, lengthen your spine forward. And then release. Draw the knees together. Now using the block as needed, you're going to join your knees, broaden the back of the knees. Using one or two blocks, I'll show you to start. Or a blanket or bolster, whatever you have accessible. Notice here I'm on the top of my ankle. My foot's aligned with the ankle joint and shin. Okay? And then you'll roll the chest up and sit tall. If you need to go lower, you can adjust the block. But pause here. We're preparing for Triamukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. In case you fell asleep, that word tends to wake you up. Yeah. Good. It's not just one word, it's multiple. Yeah. Nice. So adjusting the block, if you can sit a little lower, lift your waist. One thing that we don't always notice is that you can, if you're sitting on the blocks, you can tip it like this and like this, or the two blocks. That gives you 3 different variations. There should be no pain in the knees. Okay, front of the knees, inner knee. If there is, sit a little higher and move, spread the skin behind the knee. Okay, and breathe. Let the hips sink. If you're feeling it in your feet, maybe the arches, maybe the calves are pulsating. It's all good. Be with your breath here. Slow, soft inhalation. Slow, soft exhalation. Good. And just do a small micro adjustment. Roll that armpit chest up. Lift and heighten the upper chest cavity. So as your hips are sinking or the weight's funneling down through the base of the pelvis, you're still lifting up through the sides of the waist and lifting the chest. Breathe. Couple more breaths here. And then slowly you'll walk your hands forward. Tuck your toes under and walk back. And just move the prop so you can sit back down on your hips. So for Triamukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana, open your legs a moment as you're sitting in Dandasana. What we're going to do is have a strap. And depending on the props, if you have a bolster, you can put your buttocks on a bolster. If you have a couple blankets, the blankets might be best for you. Okay? It's going to be preference. But basically what's going to happen is your right leg's going to stay straight. So it's going to be Dandasana on one side, and then we're bending our left leg in Virasana. So you just did Virasana. I don't even think I said the name. Hero pose. So here, when I come into this pose, I spread the back of the knee with my hand, and then move my heel to the outside edge of my hip. Okay? Let me show that from behind so you can see my foot. Okay, so I'm sitting nice and tall. I roll to my right, bend the knee. You want to be very cautious as you're doing this to protect your knee. Okay, now you can probably see my hips aren't level. My right's lower than my left. So even when I clear my right buttocks, I'm still needing a little bit of a booster. Okay, so I'm going to take a blanket and slide that underneath my right hip. For some, you might take a block. It's a little bit higher, okay? The key is making sure there's no pain in your knee and that your left buttocks is sinking, okay? But it's not higher than your right. So I'm just lifting myself up one more height, okay? And to come out, you roll to your side and straighten your legs. Okay, so get your blankets or props, depending on what you need. Okay, I'll show this. I'm going to just adjust the camera. So we're a little closer together here. Don't have my cameraman today, or camera woman. Okay, so there we go. You'll extend your feet in front, come into Dandasana, squeeze the calves and pull the thighs into your hips and lift your chest. So Dandasana is the seated, straight-legged pose. Then we'll roll to our side and bend our left leg. Notice I have the blankets on the right. It's going to go under the extended leg. So this pose is not very stable. Right hip is low for me, so I need to lift my right hip up. Okay. So clear the flesh of your right buttock bone so the left buttock bone can sink. And you want to lift up. If you're getting pain in the knee, you need a little bit of adjustment, do so. Remember the heel's on the outer hip. Strap and come around the foot, okay? And just rest it there a moment. You want to have nice length so that you can walk your hands down the strap. Let's reach our arms overhead. Inhale, turn the armpits, lift out of your back waist. Wake up that front foot like we did earlier. Spread across your toe bases. Pull the right thigh into your hip and lift more. Lift out of your back waist, lift the sides of the waist, and stretch. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands to the strap, and pull back on the strap. So you're still upright. We haven't hinged forward yet. Keep that nice vertical line through the body, and lift your chest. Use the strap to help broaden the toe bases, so that wrapping comes around the bases of your toe, and then they can reach out wider into the wrap. Lift up. Stay here if this is good work. All right, heel stays on the mat. Hook that heel down. Then bend the elbows and pull your body forward. So you might start to walk your hands. Some of you are going to pull and hold onto your butt. Lift your waist up and over that front thigh and pull your body forward. Like your elbows were handles. Draw those elbows wider and pull. And pull. Maybe you'll hold onto your wrist, left wrist, to come forward a bit more and breathe. Stay with it. If you're still working with the strap, work with the strap, okay? A few more breaths here. Lengthen. And then possibly release your forehead down and breathe. If you have a blanket there, you can put a blanket for your forehead. Couple breaths here. Pull the thigh into your hips. Sink your left hip down. And then inhale, lift your chest, look up. Inhale your arms. Hands down, roll to your right, straighten your left leg, Dandasana. Both legs on the ground. Okay, again, there should be no pain in your knees. Probably feeling calves, hamstrings, maybe feeling more work through the upper body. Strap to the left. Okay, now we're going to roll to our left, bend the right knee. Okay, coming on the top of the right foot. For me, my right foot does different things. I gotta spread the back of the knee, come onto the top of the right ankle. Okay. Next, we place the blanket underneath the left hip, clear the buttocks, and sit nice and evenly. This side, for me, I want to sit a little bit higher, so I'm just going to fold my blanket, or a block would be good too, or bolster. Okay. My right hip sinking, but it's not pulling on the inner knee. Thighs pull into the hip socket. Inhale, arms up. Lift out of your back body and breathe. Extend. Let's all hook our thumbs and stretch a bit more. There we go. So much easier when you hook your thumbs, right? Lift up. Good. Now extend the hands, release the hook, and lift. And lift. Move your thumbs back. Lengthen your spine. Forward extension requires length through the spine. And breathe. Then hinge forward to take hold of the strap and pull back on the strap. Okay. Now we're completing that. If our hands can't touch, we've got a strap here. Okay. Turn the inner arms out. Spread across your toe bases. Pull the knee and thigh up into the hip. Breathe. Now walk your hands down the strap. Chest up. Maybe hold your foot. Breathe. Fingertips come along the toe bases if you're holding your foot at the beginning. Lift your waist. Keep life in this pose. Don't collapse. Lift your waist up and over that thigh. Lengthen forward. Lengthen forward. Then possibly hold the right wrist or hold the strap. And then releasing your forehead to the leg or a blanket or just down and breathe. Keep turning your waist over the front thigh. Sink your right hip, right ankle down, and breathe. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, lift up. Stretch your chest. Arms up. Arms down. Lean to your left. Extend your right leg. And remove the props. Okay. Dandasana. So for Dandasana, depending on your hamstrings, Alex, you might want to have a little bit of a booster at the beginning, okay? You could put a thin blanket here to give yourself some lift, but our hamstrings should be a little bit more open than they were at the beginning of class. Okay, so I'll show with one blanket, clearing the back of your legs. Now what you want to do here is align the inner big toe mount, inner heel, without jamming your ankle bones together. You want to lift those ankles, squeeze the knees, and pull the thighs into your hips. Roll your chest up and sit tall. If you don't need this blanket, you're able to lift out of your back waist, sacrum moves in and up. Then you come off that mat, or off the blanket, and do so. Squeeze the hips, gather the buttocks in, and lift. Now as the legs pull into the hips, press the tops of the thighs down, not the knees. Knees pull it up into the hips, but press the thighs down. If you're flat on the ground, then you can press your knees down without hyperextending the heels off the mat. Heels stay on the mat, squeeze the thighs and press your thighs down. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Urdhva Hastasana in Dandasana and lift. Lift. Squeeze those hips together, thighs down. Roll the small toes towards you. Lift, reach, and then exhale down. You have a strap handy or a block. I don't know if everyone has a strap, but you can put the heel of the hand on the block as well if you don't have a strap today. Okay, but for this one, we're going to make a loop in the strap so that it's narrower than our shoulders. Then only putting your 4 fingers in the loop, thumbs are out. You'll extend your arms forward, pull the thighs and knees into the hips, squeeze the outer hips together, move the sacrum in and up, and reach your arms overhead. Lift up, wrap the armpits in, and hit into that strap. Lift out of your back waist and breathe. Pull the back of the arm into your shoulder and move those small fingers up and back. Up and back. Breathe. Ribs in and lift. Squeeze those hips, don't collapse down, small toes towards you. breathe, and then exhale, release. Okay, next, Paripurna Navasana. So, sitting evenly on your buttocks, you're gonna lift out of your back waist, walk back, hold the back of your thighs, and just tip your toes up. Pause there. Lift out of your back waist and breathe. There should be no back pain here. Okay, if you need support, put your hands back. If you're getting back pain, squeeze a block between your thighs and work that way. Okay? Squeeze and breathe. Okay, squeeze and breathe. And then release. Let's all try this and then we'll let go of it. Okay, so the block comes between the upper inner thighs. Squeeze. You'll lean back, lift the legs, and maybe lift the arms in. Squeeze that work between the thighs. Squeeze. Soften your gaze, release the neck and throat. Arms at your side, squeeze the breath. Squeeze and breathe. And then come down. If that was really helpful for your low back pain, keep it there. Okay, next one. You can continue to do the bent knee. I'm going to show you another progression. Squeeze the thighs, roll the chest, lean back, and swing your legs up. Okay, try that again. Legs down, lift up, lean back, and swing your legs up. Toes nice and high. Squeeze the thighs, coil the small toes towards you, and breathe. Okay, legs down. As though that block was still there, or maybe it is. Squeeze the block, lean back, and swing the legs up. Squeeze, and breathe. Roll your chest up, and breathe. And then come down. Okay, one more time. Choose which one you want to do. Bent knees, hands behind. Okay, sit tall. Lift your chest. Reach your arms up. As you swing your hands down, lean back and arms or legs up. Legs up. There we go. Squeeze the thighs, toes up. Squeeze the thighs, squeeze the calves. Breathe. Breathe. Toes up, chest up, and then legs down. Wonderful. Okay. Come into Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together. If you need to sit taller for this or higher for this, you just take a blanket or two, make sure it's even. Cut the outer heels down and lift your knees. Let's cup the small toes under our hands, okay? So that the outer heels come down. So you can lift your feet up a bit, so just the outer heels are down. Knees are up, and breathe. Knees up a bit more. Pause. Keep those outer heels anchoring down. Roll your chest up, lift your wings, and then pull your body forward. Okay, keep anchoring the outer heels down, and then release your head. Stay there with your breath. Good. So Marianne, lift your sacrum in and up. Yeah, lift your knees up a bit more and see if that can lift your back waist up more. Yes, there you go. Roll your chest to the ceiling. And then everyone walk your hands in and come back up to seated. Good. Okay. So from here, we'll come into Paschimottanasana, and then we'll come into our final pose. If this is getting too deep for you, too much forward folding, okay, you can take your feet into a V position, all right? And you could do it that way instead. But the Paschimottanasana is with our legs together in Dandasana, okay? So using the strap if needed. Pull the thighs and knees into the hips and roll your chest up. Lift your back waist up and breathe. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, bend the elbows and pull your body forward. Yes, and pull your body forward. Yeah, roll your chest, lift your waist. Up and forward. Breathe. Elbows wide, spread across your shoulder blades. And breathe. Maybe hold on to your wrist and pull forward. And then release the forehead. Keep bending the elbows wide and pull the thighs into the hips. Breathe. And then inhale, chest up. Lengthen. Come on up. And release. Okay. Viparita Karani, legs up the wall. What I recommend is sliding one of your mats there or your mat there. Okay. Then have 3 blankets. The first blanket is going to be a bolster fold like so. So nice and wide. Fold it. Smooth, even surface. Good. And the second one, again. Okay. Nice and open. Then place that there. Bolster comes on top. So I've got 2 blankets of bolster. Then you take your block the narrow way on its side and place it there so you can see a bit better. Last piece is a thin blanket for your head. So I open the blanket up nice and wide so that when I come into the pose, I can do that. All right, so there's 2 ways to come into this. You can do the somersault, or I'll show this one first if you know this is the way you want to go. See, I get my buttock bones into the wall, I roll my body and swing my legs up, lengthen my hip crease toward the wall, legs up. It's like Dandasana, right? And then you release your shoulder blades to the ground. You really want to feel like the chest is opening up and is supported, is buoyant, open. So find your Viparita Karani, your legs up the wall position. And breathe. Yeah, adjust the bolster. Make sure nothing is in the way of your hands. And feel your legs getting that nice sensation after a long day of being upright or standing. Feel the support and lift behind your heart. The flood of breath into your upper chest cavity. As you settle, notice if you need to make any changes. And breathe. The breath, open the back of the knees. Watch that your throat isn't being collapsed in by your chin. You might not need a blanket, yeah. Let the shoulder corners soften toward the mat. Release your wrists and hands and breathe. Slow, soft inhalation. Slow, soft exhalation. Shift your legs to a small V position. And breathe. I prefer to have my arms in more of a cactus shape. So if you want to adjust them, you can, but if you're comfortable, stay where you are. To cut the outer shoulder corners down into the ground. Roll those armpit chests up and over your shoulders. And from the center of your breastbone, upper collarbone, spread out to the shoulder blade or shoulder and down. Staying there or moving your feet to bound angles, soles of the feet together, knees apart, creating a diamond shape. Great. Sink your hips and breathe. If you've come into bound angle, outer heels press into the wall. Adjusting your legs to the position you prefer for the last few breaths. Gently lift your hips up and slide the bolster to the side. Let your hips settle down a bit lower. I'm going to leave you here. Try not to rush. Let your back be neutral. If you think you need Shavasana on your back, you can do that as well. But stay here for another 10 breaths. Observe your breath. And namaste.